At the Galactic Academy, every species prided itself on being the strongest, smartest, or deadliest. The room was filled with the brightest cadets from across the known galaxy, towering reptilians with scales like armor, avians with razor-sharp talons, and methane-breathing insectoids with reflexes faster than light. And then there was Daniel, the human. He sat in the back corner of the classroom, quiet, polite, always taking notes. The others didn't pay him much attention. Humans weren't exactly known for standing out. When the professor announced the final evaluation, the Deathworld Survival Test, most cadets smirked. It was a simulation that mimicked conditions from the most hostile planets in the galaxy. Each student was expected to survive for 6 hours in their assigned zone. Most assumed the human would wash out in the first 10 minutes. When the test began, the cadets were transported to separate sectors within the simulation dome. Blazing deserts, toxic swamps, predator-infested jungles. Daniel's zone? Earth-class environment. The others laughed. Ha! They gave him a low-grade death world, hissed a Valgari with 4 crimson eyes. Maybe the system glitched, chirped an avian cadet. Humans can barely survive their own weather. The instructor, a hardened Threxian commander, folded his arms. Let's see who lasts. 2 hours in, the scoreboard was already shifting. The reptilians were holding strong in volcanic terrain. The insectoids dominated in the toxic swamps. But one by one, scores began to plummet. Acid rain, temperature spikes, radiation bursts. The Deathworld test adapted dynamically to test limits. The Valgari leader, Stor, was boasting through the comms. These conditions are nothing. I could live here for cycles. Then the temperature spiked to 200 degrees Celsius. His vitals flatlined. The avian screeched as a storm ripped through its sector, tearing its wings apart. The insectoid? Its armor dissolved in the swamp gas. By the 4th hour, only 2 names remained on the monitor, Kalar of Threxia and Daniel, human. The instructors leaned forward. Lar was a warrior species from a molten planet. Endurance and pain resistance beyond any average being. He was fighting his way through a landscape of volcanic eruptions. But Daniel was calm. His vitals were steady, oxygen low but stable. The commander frowned. What is he doing? The observer zoomed in on Daniel's sector. The feed flickered. A dense jungle, torrential rain, predatory life signs everywhere. Daniel had built a shelter using vines and stones. A small fire burned nearby, smoke controlled, heat reflected back toward him by a wall of leaves. He was comfortable. What kind of environment is that? Asked one of the alien cadets nervously. The instructor's expression hardened. It's not a glitch. That's a real simulation of Earth, his homeworld. The room went silent. Earth, the commander continued, is classified as a Class 8 death world, one of the most dangerous known to the Galactic Council. Most species couldn't survive 5 minutes there without protective gear. Yet humans evolved there. The cadets' jaws dropped. Temperature extremes, predators, disease, natural disasters, poisonous flora and fauna. That's normal for him. At the 6-hour mark, the simulation ended. The dome opened, revealing Kalar, barely standing, armor scorched and body trembling. Then Daniel stepped out from his zone, stretching casually like he'd just finished a light jog. The Threxian commander stared at him. Cadet Daniel, how did you maintain your vitals under those conditions? Daniel shrugged. Honestly, sir, reminded me of a camping trip back home. A nervous laugh rippled through the class. The others didn't join in. They were too busy staring at him in disbelief. Later, as they gathered in the mess hall, the aliens whispered among themselves. That human. He didn't even look tired. Did you see his readings? No spikes, no stress. What kind of planet breeds something like that? Daniel just smiled faintly, sipping his drink. He wasn't arrogant. He wasn't boastful. He didn't need to be, because he knew something the others were only just beginning to understand. Humans weren't built to dominate safe worlds. They were forged in chaos, tempered by danger and perfected by survival. To them, a death world wasn't a nightmare. It was home.